Our top story. The U.S. economy grew barely at all in the first quarter of 2014. Economists are blaming the severe winter for the slowdown in exports and business investments. Despite some concerns about the housing market, economists say it is not a sign of weakness. Ryntjes explains.
The initial number is a bit of a shock to the system at first glance. The US economy grew only 0.1%, losing its quarterly footing after a strong sprint at the end of last year. But the economists aren't panicking. They're putting it down to the unusually cold weather.
It was extremely harsh in many parts of the country. An unknown portion of this slowdown is attributable to that winter weather. But yes, I am a little worried that the economy is not performing as well as I had hoped.
America's export activity also chilled, with goods stuck at ports, though it's unclear at this stage if this is just a blip or if America's seeing a slower demand from key trading partners. Home and office builders also struggled in the snow, and businesses were much more reluctant to stock up on extra equipment and goods. And new data shows home ownership is not rebounding as many had anticipated. Consumer spending, accounting for 2/3 of the economy, increased 3%, though not at the shopping malls. The money went to heating homes and, in an apparent endorsement of President Obama's healthcare reform, medical services. But for the longer term, the growing US energy sector is emerging as the key driver of growth.
And I think that we're going to continue to see investment not just in drilling, but also in downstream gigantic petrochemical plants, in export terminals for natural gas, and a lot more transportation, pipelines and railroads to haul those liquids and gas.
And for now, the job market is continuing its upward trajectory. A new survey of private employment shows 220,000 workers were added to the payrolls in March. The GDP number for this quarter is just an estimate right now, to be revised in May. And economists generally agree that the US is still on track for growth of around 2.5% this year. Ryntjes, CCTV, Washington.